It is day 635 of the Arukh HaShulchan. This week's Arukh HaShulchan is being sponsored for schools for Shlema for Yonatan Ezer ben Chana Feigel. May have a Shlema B'Karov. If you like to sponsor upcoming Shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan, please contact me directly. We very greatly appreciate it. Today we're doing Siman Shinayin, Sipur Aleph to Sipur Ches. Sure has one of the long ones. No, not so long. Rav. That's what I'm on. Peridal din Zayin. Chamesh Chabur Shabsu. There are 5 groups which spend Shabbos retracting Echad in one large hall. Mayom Mafsi ben Kol Chabur v'Chabura Mechitzos. There was a gap. There was a barrier between each of the groups of a wall. Which we reach up to the ceiling. So every chabur is like its own room. Okay, more on this floor on its own. Because you can pass from kol chabur that you need a loaf of bread from each group. If the walls do not reach the ceiling, one loaf for all of them suffices. They're like the people in one house. Obviously, the time over there, other people living in the yard. Otherwise, the whole concept of one kikar for all of them doesn't make any sense. It's an Erev Klal, don't require an Erev whatsoever. Anyone who thinks that Lama Lo Lamishla Lamar, the Bismachik Sasha Shrim Chadarim Avalios. Why does this mission say some of them are rooms, some of them are on different floors? How many Mr. Busa Traders say bigger Kiddush? Even if there's just walls going up to the ceiling, each and every chabur requires its own eruv. You base our big bali tries to think the talk about the association fresh with it. This is a distinction. If it's only roof walls which reach the ceiling, they don't require an air for each and every group. Only if they took their eruv to some other house in the chutzah. But anyway, but as long as it was in this house in the tracklin, you don't need air for each and every group. You can buy it's like one house. The game about the Baal Shmicha so since Shim Samachvav, since the house in which the Erev is placed does not have to give a portion of bread, they're all like one person. They're called tracking by Secharu. All of the halls, one house. But if they're in separate rooms, in separate floors, even the Erev comes to them, need every each and every group. So if there are no other people living in the chutzah, where the walls reach the ceiling, you don't need Erev whatsoever. But if you have separate rooms, separate floors, also in this scenario, they require an Erev. Focus on also Ratim Klum Ovrim Zelzeh. It's like a railroad flat. It's like a railroad flat where each room opens into the next room. Only the 2 inner ones require an Eruv. Sharatzin is not sure when the Mechitzos reach the ceiling and they pass to each other. So then the outer one should consider to be a Beis Shar and exempt from Erev, or they all chayv in one Erev, because they're all like one room, and the outer ones are not like a Beis Shar for the Panimium. Okay? As it may, the Arukh HaShulchan clearly holds that only the 2 inner ones are in Erev, Choshif Nehem, and all the ones in front of them, having a Beis Shar, they're like a Beis Shar to them. And that those which are before the inner one require an Erev Mishum Beis Shar the Yachid, because they are a gatehouse of an individual. Beis Shar the Yachid Oser Ayin Sham. Even though it's a railroad flat, it's like each one is a Beis Shar of the next one. Beis Shar of an individual answers. Sharatzian says, and anyway, here it's more likely to require an Erev because it's over the Dira. People actually live there. Okay. Yeah. Um, אבל כשכל אחד יש לפס לחצה, each and every one has an opening to the chatzah, but entering their zeh, they don't go through each other. או שכל אחד יש לפס פסול בשער שאם each one has its own opening to the gatehouse in front of them. בשער פסול חצה and the gatehouse over the chatzah. צריכים לחבורה במחיצה, some against nikra, they need an air for each and every group when the walls reach the ceiling. The chatzah also במחיצה against the tikra, chatzah against. Some of the walls reach all the way to the ceiling, and some of them don't. Also, Shmagiot same Mechulakim, those that try to reach up to the ceiling are considered to be divided. Tzichem Eir B'Kol Echad Echad, got an Eir for each and every one. Also, She'em Magios, and those which don't reach the ceiling have it, K'Mishu Tofim. They're already joined together. Kol Nasar Eir Echad, and they all give one Eir. Yirmel. Yes, we have a great question. Why is that the biggest law? Chamish Chabur Sheshavs and Trakin Echad, with 5 groups which spend Shabbos in one large hall. It's the main distinction is whether the walls reach all the way to the ceiling or not. About 5 people who live in one house. They don't, if the walls don't reach the ceiling, they don't require Erev. And when there is other people, for this Erev, you need only one Erev. One piece of bread, one little bread for all of them. But here's the thing, if they reach the ceiling, so each one has to participate separately. Why set up this crazy of a tracklin? And they're spending Shabbos in a tracklin. It's talking about right in the house. It's only if it's an ad hoc arrangement. But if it's actually these are permanent residences, I feel even if the walls don't reach the ceiling, for each one. Because only if they're temporary abodes and temporary walls is it considered to be that they can they be considered one. But when it's a dira kvua, permanent dira, and mechitza sarai, low walls, right? Have a kedira sarai mechitza split, the same thing like temporary abode with full walls. The tzarich erev kol chabura did not ask me require an air for each and every group. You doubt. Shnei v'tosefta chamish chaburos mikzasa shir v'chaborim. You have chadorim. You have 5 groups. Some of them in the rooms, some in the upper floors. Trakli shlem k'chatz lebatim. So their large hall, which is in common, is like the chatzah for houses. So everybody is connected to the tracklin. They didn't make an air amongst themselves and now allowed to carry from their rooms the tracklin to the hall. It's like from a house to a chatzah. About krachim. So he'll derive in this in our city. Everybody lives in their own apartment. And the one's large room like a hall. Zal. Zal is a hall. Which everybody uses. And they make an air amongst them. Also, the talta, they can't carry from their room. To the big room. And from his room to his friend's rooms. They eat in one place. They have one kitchen. That's okay. Because Mokum Pita is Gorim, and that one is held jointly. Tezvav, Kasa to Shara Subsiv Gimel, Avamishi Yeshlo Melamed Osabes, so somebody has a teacher in his house. Bechem Talmidim Shlomni Vnei Arav. And so to students who are residing in their Rebbe's house. And they live in the Rebbe's house, each one in his own room. Even each one has an opening to the chatzah. And even each one eats and drinks in his own room. Ain't a moser. They don't require an air. They don't forbid for an air. Come on. A householder who gives permission to a teacher or sofer, to be in his house. and he loans him one room. And he eats of his own food and he eats in his own room. But he uses the Baal says two vessels for baking and cooking. Ain't so that's incarnate. So the same is true with students in the Rebbe's house. The time since they're using for the entire house, the cooking and baking vessels, it's as if they're all eating in one place. But that doesn't sound so like a strong reason. But we have another reason. Nobody loans out space that it should answer on him. I'm not going to take it. Not going to remember they're not paying rent here, so I'm not going to give you space in my house. You should answer them. The Shahid is not to make year man. That's the mechidim. He's not taking from them any rent. He's getting them for free. It's like loaning. He doesn't loan it to him that they should make us on him. But so they're negated to him. And they're like, what? That's the flip side. They in fact are renting a room. Most. They're paying money. Even they drink by themselves. Even though they're using the vessels of the household, they are forbid each other. But we can be able to require an you have people in the yard all eating in one room. Even though each one has his own house, it's kibbutz, they have a communal dining room. It's here, they don't need an Erev. Like members of one household. They need to make an Erev for people with different chotzer. All of them contribute one loaf together. Then we take one loaf, also Malcolm Shine about the place where the Erev is being collected. If the Erev comes to them, they should make an Erev in the chotzer there. They put Erev in their chotzer, they don't have to give Erev at all. Just like the halach of a house in which you put an Erev, doesn't have to give bread. All these houses are like one house. They have an ikar makam achila because they eat together. And the primary place which determines their status is the place where they eat. So the many Ba'abatim eat in one room. Each one on his own table. So even though each one sleeps separately, and drinks and eats snacks in his room. Nevertheless, the Kohanim sits at the fixed meal times. They eat in one room. Even though they're eating on separate tables. Maybe they even put a barrier between the two tables for privacy. And it's not called a wall. It's not a permanent wall. Certainly when the wall doesn't reach the ceiling. So 5 people who made Shabbos in the hall, which is where we said previously, there is no concept of a mechitza interruption. Since it's not permanent, let's say it's rock, and it's only put up when they want to do something private, etc. You eat somewhere and sleep somewhere else. The prime place is a place to eat. V'sham will say that's in that place you forbid others and must participate in the Erev. A place where he sleeps ain't also. He doesn't forbid others and he doesn't participate. So brothers who we eat in their father's house and sleep in their own houses. Animals saying they don't forbid. Considered like one. If they get stipends from their father's house, but when I show them lechem or mostly close lechem, he gives them bread or money to buy bread, and they go back and eat in their houses. Then they're in the twilight zone. Not like one, because they're not all together, but not like separate because they're all being supplied by the father. When there are no other dwelling places in the Chatzar. Affiliation Marim, there are the ones El Shemnichem Erev Etzlam, but they put the Erev by them, presumably by one of them. There's a bunch of them. They're not to give any loaves of bread, because since they eat in the father's household, the fact that they sleep separately does not make it that they are distinct entities. They take that to another house. Each person gives his portion there. And she also make it have another courtyard. The Tamish Dover, what's the reason? The Makabel Pras, somebody who gets a stipend. Yesh, plenty Lamar, Shuka Ocha Mishalo, Mishana Silo. I made a mistake before. This case of Kabbalah Pras, they are eating their own house. Since they're eating it on the basis largesse of the father. And therefore it's a suffix. The common press is funny, nice and low, but I could say he's eating from the supplies of the father, and therefore he's not subordinate to him. It's hard to say the Kim Shall be the Atzmo, but eats on his own. Having just the Atzmo, it's like his own jurisdiction. It can go both ways. Pasha the Dafka Benam Kabbalah Pras, but anyway, it's certainly only a son who's getting stipend. Chamesh Noshim, he had 5 wives. Chamesh Amanim, 5 slaves. The guy made Pras, basically each one gets a stipend in his house. So the student gets a stipend from his teacher. Basically, it's his house. They don't ask on each other if there's nobody else there living in the chutzner. Oksher Baitzlam, or where the air comes down, commotion is bar, as we have explained. But that's only by relatives or avadim, same as the household. But as a stranger who gets a stipend for his work or b'shul ta'amach or some other reason, having about bais in the answer when he's talking about bais on his own, both himself that and his presence causes forbids carrying him. He merely requires an eruv.